Hello, welcome back to Two Bros. Today we're going to show you about making a bug out bag. And I'm going to show you one that I put together. And what this would do is have everything you might need for at least 72-hour period of time. If you had to vacate your home or get back to your home, if you're out and about and something happens like an EMP hits or who knows what, and you need to maybe be on foot, or if you are at home and you need to leave for some reason, whether it's fire, earthquake, biological release, nuclear accident, flood, whatever it might be, where you can't stay at home, then you want to have something you can grab, throw it on your back, and bug out quickly. And you could throw it in the car if your car runs and you're able to do that, or you might just have to put it on your back and head out on foot. So I'm going to show you some of the things that will make this easier. So first of all, I want to talk about the kind of backpack that you should have. This is an internal frame backpack. And this is important to understand this, because when you have a lot of gear that you're trying to carry, if you've just lugged something small through an airport, for instance, you know what a chore that could be. And if you imagine trying to do that for miles, maybe, carrying that kind of weight, you want to have something that's made for the job. So an internal frame backpack has a frame that transfers the weight of this not just onto your shoulders, but onto your pelvis as well, so you're not fatiguing your shoulders. Now here's an example of a traditional backpack, like you might throw a few things, your books at school or something in. But if you load this down, and it weighs 30, 40 pounds, and all of that weight is being focused on these two straps on your shoulders, it's going to really fatigue you. It's going to cut off circulation and nerve supply in your cervical brachial plexus here. It's not going to be very fun, and you won't be able to do it for very long. So you really need an internal frame backpack if you're going to carry anything substantial. So this is better than no pack, but it's worth the effort and the extra expense to get an internal frame backpack. So what I'm going to do is show you, not necessarily in order of importance, but just as I open this backpack, I'll show you what we got. So we'll start on the outside. We've got our cold steel shovel. This is a really fine, well-made, heavy-duty, durable shovel made by cold steel that you, of course, can dig with. It can be thrown. You could use it to hunt with. You could use it to defend, self-defense with. You can sharpen the edges. You can cut with it, chop like a hatchet with it. It has many uses. Very handy thing to have. So I have that here on the outside. On the other side, I've got a ground sheet. Now, a ground sheet will, you roll this out if you have to lay on the ground, and it'll inflate automatically when you open this. And then you close it, and you have a little cushion of foam and air under your body. So it'll keep you warmer, protect you from the heat sink of the earth, pulling body heat out of your body, and make it comfortable if you're laying on rocks or roots or something. It's pretty lightweight, but it can really make a difference if you get a good night's sleep. And that's so important to get comfortable sleep when you're having to walk and do a lot of manual labor. Okay, so we've got several compartments here, and this is a removable, could be a day pack that you could wear. Just this, put essentials in if you're going to go out from your camp, not very far. You don't want to take the whole pack with you. But again, in here, what I've done, I'm going to turn this over. I've loaded this with, okay, this has a bladder, a hydration bladder, and has a tube that comes through here. I have it inside, I'll show you. And you can keep hydrated that way while you're walking. You just have this tube and you can drink from your hydration bladder without having to stop, take it off, pour something and drink it. You can just keep moving. So, on the other side, I've got food. Now again, this is going to be for like 72 hours, 3 days potentially. If you're, say, 60, 70 miles an hour away by car, it could be several days by foot to get back home. So you want to have enough quality food that doesn't weigh a lot. So this is some albacore steaks. Got some white chicken. It's vacuum sealed. And dried apricots. I got some spirulina plankton tablets. It's the highest energy food on the planet. 72% protein. It's 95% digestible. These little tablets, you can chew on those and they'll sustain you. So I've got some coffee filters if you had to filter or make any drinks, if you want to make coffee drink or beverage or whatever. Very handy. This is knife and fork and spoon that all fits together in here. Kind of handy for eating. This is a selection of little packets of herbal tea. Just heat water. And there's coffee and a chocolate drink. So these are easy to work with. You just open the package. It's like a unit portion each. So you don't have leftovers to deal with. Okay, so something you might want to get to quickly would be something to eat when you're traveling if you stop. So I put them in here. Now each pack is going to be different. There's different compartments and zippers, and they're all unique. So you'll have to find the best configuration for yourself. But this is how I did it. Okay, on the outside, we got the compartment here. Now this has an emergency blanket. It's like a Mylar blanket. And I've got cordage in here. I've got parachute cord. Cordage can come in so handy for so many things. You want to make sure you have that. And this is some smaller Mason's line, which is pretty strong. And if you need to lash anything, create a tripwire, whatever, you can use that. Got a compass. And this is an analog watch, not a digital electric watch, which would be inoperable after a CME or a EMP pulse. This is the old-fashioned wind-up analog watch. So if you wanted to keep track of time, you could have something that would actually work. These are little binoculars. These are handy if you want to see at a distance. These are 12 by 25. And they don't take up a lot of room, but they give you a real clear view of what you're trying to see. I got all that in this compartment. Now, moving down to the lower compartment, I've got basically clothes. I've got a hat, and if you need to keep the sun off of you, got that here. Some gloves. If you're climbing or you've got to move, if you're building a debris shelter, whatever it is you need to protect your hands, but you want your fingertips uncovered so you have dexterity to do fine motor skills. So this protects the back of your hand. So some gloves to keep you warm, very important. A pair of shoes that you can walk in, and extra socks. You want to have dry socks. If your feet get wet, it can really create problems for you. If you get a fungus in your feet or something, it can really put you out of commission. So you want to have dry socks that you can swap out while you're drying another pair, ideally. So I've got these in here. This is a radio. This is a crank up powered. It's a multi-band shortwave radio. It's got weather, AM and FM. Plus it's got a little LED light, which could be handy. And you just, again, no batteries needed. Crank it up. And so that kind of has a small footprint and doesn't take up a lot of room. But could be handy if there was not an EMP, because this would get fried in a EMP pulse or CME if it wasn't protected in a Faraday cage. Got some dog chains that I use for my Doberman, and if she was with, I might need to have a collar for her to keep her contained. But these can come in handy for all kinds of other things, and they don't take up a lot of room, so I just felt guided to throw them in. I've got a little carabiner here, and these can be used for lashing, could be used for hanging your hammock up, which I have right here. This is my bed, very lightweight, and this you would string up between a couple trees, something, and it's cool. The bag is part of it. It's all self-contained, so you're not going to lose the bag. Forget it. Or something and blow it, it won't blow away. So here's your S hooks that you would attach with your cordage around a couple trees, and you can sleep comfortably in this. You can get inside and you can be covered and concealed. There's different ways you can configure this. It's very versatile, but again, it doesn't weigh much, it doesn't take up much room, and it all folds right back into itself. So that all fits in this little bottom compartment. Now on the outside I also have this little Gerber machete, which is very handy. So you can cut and saw with it if you had to build anything, if you're building a shelter, getting wood for your fire, making camp furniture, whatever you're doing. This is a handy tool. So that is right on the outside, so you have access to it. Also, another little compartment here, I have a little tackle box for fishing, and this side I have a fishing rod and reel. And this fits together nicely right here. And with the tackle in the tackle box, you extend this and you're ready to go fishing. And catch you some food for dinner. So again, this takes up very little room and can be very helpful for providing food. have a knife, kind of a medium size fixed blade. This is a cold steel knife that was retrofitted with a shrink wrap handle. So this could be handy for chopping, cutting, stuff that you might need around the camp for protection, self-defense. There's multi-uses in the kitchen, food preparation. So I have that in there, accessible. These are all pretty much on the outside. You can get to these things fairly easy. Another little handy shovel. It's small stainless steel. So if you had to dig a hole or bury something or anchor something, you can dig, get to the roots, different plants, things, bury your waste. It's a handy little shovel. So that'll fit in a small compartment. Now if we go inside, this also has a rain cover that you can put over this while you're wearing it or while you're storing it. This is the hydration bladder I mentioned. It goes in this compartment on top. This is a folding cane. If you get injured, you need like a crutch or a cane to help you walk. Doesn't take up much room. Could also be used for self-defense. So that fits in there nicely. Moon floss, very important. Along with having food, you got to have toilet paper. This is all fire starting devices. So we have lots of lighters, and here's a little torch that uses a regular butane lighter, and it'll give you a focused flame. You could actually solder with something like this. You could start a fire with it, but it focuses, there we go, focuses the flame in one area. So that's handy. We've got a couple of packs of waterproof containers with, I have some cable ties. These things can come in really handy for lashing things down, and they're pretty strong. So they take up little weight and they fit right in here. So I have hurricane matches and striker. And again, this is waterproof. I have another waterproof with matches in there with a striker on the bottom. If you drop these in the water or whatever, they'll still function. A magnesium fire starter. You've got your magnesium rod, and you create your sparks to get your fire started. These are like large matches, and you can strike these to light them, and they burn for several minutes. Pretty hot. You can get a fire going pretty easily with one of these. So it's like your tinder, your kindling, everything all in one. You get these in a box of about 50 or 100 of these. So I just put like 3 in. I figure 3 days I might want to have 3 fires. But there's other ways. Again, you want to have at least 5 ways to make a fire. So, waterproof matches, little candles, little like tea light candles. You need illumination at night. You don't want to create a lot of light. So these all go in together. So I know where, if I need fire, I grab this bag. This is the light bag. This has flashlights. This is kind of a nice little mag light. It's LED, very bright. It's a 3-watt bulb, and you can use it as an attitude adjustment tool if you need to. This light has LEDs, very bright, and it hangs like overhead. It could be in your tent or wherever you're wanting to illuminate. It has 4 AA batteries. I took one of the batteries out because the switch is here and it can turn itself on in your bag, and then when you need it, the batteries are dead. So I took one of the batteries out and I have it in this bag also. You can just pop that in if you needed to use it. Now this is a light that you wear on your head. And you turn it on and it illuminates. Your hands are free and you can see either red for night, or you can have the bright, and it's LED, so it's going to last a long time, and the batteries will last a long time. This is another handy crank up flashlight. You crank this thing for 30 seconds to a minute, and you've got several minutes of light with the LEDs inside here. So you don't really need batteries with this. So this is the light flashlight bag. So all of that stuff is together. Of course, you could carry any of these in your pocket. Also, just a towel. You need to wipe your body down. It's nice to have a natural fabric towel. Okay, we've got cordage. This is 50 feet of braided nylon rope. You can use this for all kinds, for rescue, for securing, for making a camp, for putting up a lean-to, for all kinds of stuff. Can't have too much cordage. There's some smaller 50 feet of, and these are both braided nylon. They're very strong, a lot of tensile strength. This is a little grappling hook that could be used for retrieving something from, say, in the water. You could throw it to gain access to climb up onto something. Could have several applications. Put that in there. This little bag with kind of medicinal stuff. I've got some nature gel. This stuff is so good for bites and stings, and it's got herbs based in a base of aloe with calendula and other real good herbs in there. Some iodine. This is iodine and iodide together. So if you need to protect yourself from radiation exposure, iodine 131 from a nuclear accident or something, you have that there. As well as your thyroid needs it every day anyways. These are a little itch relief for stings. This is a repellent, and you can spray it on your body. Doesn't take up a lot of room. And this, same thing for itching relief. Some colon herbs. It's easy to get dehydrated and constipated, period, but especially in a stressed out survival situation. So there's some herbal capsules that'll help you poop if you need help there. It can make a huge difference in how comfortable you are and how well you sleep, all kinds of things. So I have all those in this little bag. So they're easy to get to if you need them. These little mesh bags are really handy for containing, could be dirty clothes, could be food, something you want to put in water, cold water, to keep cold, and it protects it and keeps it accessible. Mosquito netting. If you live in an area where there's lots of mosquitoes, this can really be helpful. This keeps your head and neck protected from mosquitoes, and it could also be used as a bee veil if you're going to rob a beehive and get some honey or something. Okay, rat trap. You can get these at your local China Mart or any kind of department store. Now, this can be used to catch rodents, small animals, or it could be used in conjunction with a tripwire to create an alarm. Like if somebody trips a tripwire and you've got a hook to this, it's going to wake you up if you're not already awake and alert you that something has invaded your territory there, wherever you're trying to sleep or whatever. So that can be handy for that. A tarp. This is a 6 foot by 8 foot tarp, and this can be used as a ground cover. You can use it as a shelter, as a lean-to, like a tent. You can string it over your hammock, and has a variety of applications, but hard to replicate if you don't have it. Now we've got a water filter. This is a Catadine, and it's a ceramic hand pump device. You throw this in your water source. It could be a mud puddle, it could be a swimming pool, any river, any kind of creek, a stream. You can pump this and it's going to purify that water and protect you from any bacteria, anything that's in the water that could be harmful to you. So this, again, doesn't take up a lot of room. One of these would be plenty for a couple people. So water is very important in a survival situation. Most people that aren't in a survival situation don't get enough water, let alone if they were trying to survive. Extra clothes. A long sleeve cotton shirt. And you notice it's darker, more, it blends in more with like a wilderness, woodsy kind of setting. You don't attract attention to yourself if you don't want to. These are military BDU pants. These are 100% cotton again. And they've got a gusseted crotch. They've got all kinds of pockets, reinforced knees and butt. So very durable. Here's the matching top. It's a light jacket. And again, 100% cotton. And you can be color coordinated and look good while you're surviving. Okay, going deeper. This is a handy dry bag. It opens up and you can put whatever you want to keep dry. If you got rain, you got to go in water. You could take stuff and put it in here, and then you can snap this onto your pack also. And so that gives you added capacity, waterproof capacity. Here. Extra socks and underwear. Very important. And a rain suit. It's really important that you keep your body dry. You can lose a lot of body heat if you're wet. It's very important. So this is a rain suit. It's got a top and pants, and that'll keep you dry. If you had tropical storm, hurricane, there's a lot of rain, and so your house got damaged, and you're out in that bad weather, you got to protect yourself. So this another important thing to have. And I think that's the bottom of the barrel. So these things will make it a lot easier for you to make 72 hours while you're getting to a bug out location, a backup location that for whatever reason you need to leave your home. You have already decided where you're going to go. If you need to get home, if you're in your car, say, and you have your pack with you, and you break down, or for some reason you can't continue driving, you can't get home by roadway, you need to go on foot, you got this pack, you got stuff to survive. And so hopefully this is enlightening for you and can help you put together another pack on your own. Now, I didn't have a first aid kit in here. You should have a first aid kit. I was going to go through my first aid kit separately, and it's pretty extensive, but I'll do that in another video.